continue. Well, welcome everybody to session 3 of our 8 Keys to Soul Alignment workshop and masterclass. So today we're going to dive into the process of when I have really understood that I am a soul living a human experience, and I accept that. And I accept that there's actually nothing wrong with me, except I've had experiences, traumas, beliefs, structures. I've had templates given to me in my human life that have actually put me into limitation. And I've believed these things because that's what everybody else did, and that's I was told was normal. So now we see that these blocks are actually what stop us from being our true self. Now the question becomes, now that I've been able to identify, okay, I know it's one of these 8, I know it's in here. And now we've been able to identify what the number one thing is. The next piece, and that's why we have this 3rd session, is, so what is the process, the technology, the steps, the insights to be able to unravel all of this stuff that is limitation, that is only serving to get in my way, so that finally I can embody and be the soul that I am. Yes? This process, this technology, this 5-step framework, if you will, is something I've called Arise. So I would invite you to grab that number one thing that is your thing and walk with me as we go through this Arise process to see where this took root and what the steps are for us to get unstuck. So we begin with A. A stands for awakening. And in awakening, it really is for me the realization that nothing is happening to us as much as it's happening for us. And you might have heard that sentence before, but when that got really real for me, there was such a deep peace, and there was such a realization of, wow, life is not giving me what I want. Life is showing me where I'm at. Okay, it's showing me everything that's in my field. Showing me my talents, my abilities, my abundance. It's also showing me my restrictions, my limitations, my traumas, my triggers. Yes? So this is ultimate service. When we realize that life is loving us in every moment and everything that's happening, it's not about bad or good or comfortable or uncomfortable. It's about, baby, this is where it's at. Do we want to deal? Now, because we don't know how to deal, most of the times we'll just push it down, we'll avoid so many strategies. We get angry, we explode, we have our little temper tantrum, whatever is the way out of having to deal with the issue. So the first step of transformation is to awaken that we are ultimately creators, that life is co-creating with us, that everything in my existence is just showing me where I'm at, okay? So when we go into this awakened state and keep this realization and remember, I am a soul, right? I am this infinite, abundant love. So if key number 4 is your thing, for example, that your soul is divine perfection, but your human doesn't experience that on a day-to-day, moment-by-moment basis, then the question becomes, okay, but wait a minute, I know that on a soul level, I'm perfect. So comes the next step of our process. Remember that I am this perfection, but I also need to remember, when did I forget that? When was I talked out and trained out and conditioned out of my perfection? Isn't that an interesting idea? So where was I spoken out of it? Normally it will happen between birth and age 7. Yes, Most by the time we are 7 years old, 8 years old, we are already talked out of our magnificence. We're just normal. We got to work really hard for love. The time is ticking. We got to shape up our shop and keep chop chop and in the rat race, already conditioned and ready for work. So it happens very, very early. And what's so amazing about remembering is that we come across another big, big lie of life, or mankind, that time heals. And it doesn't. It does not heal conditioned belief systems. Those belief systems that are implanted when we are very young is going to go with us throughout life because it's in our cellular memory. It is in our behavioral patterning. Does that make sense? So like if I get upset, if something triggers me, it's not 42-year-old wholeness way shower, balanced, profound, soul-centered Lizette that is going to answer you. The person that is going to answer you is a very upset 6-year-old that is having a fit and that can smash a table or throw a cup or go crazy. So I don't want to think that there's anything wrong with you. We just need to be very aware that that part of us that was broken from innocence, that's how I describe it. We are broken from innocence is the one that's mad. Yes? So we need to deal with our inner wounds in that way. And I love that because I could stop taking my tantrums seriously and some of my reactions that weren't really born from love. I could start having a lot more compassion for myself. It's like, I'm doing that thing again. But here I know it's a conditioning that's taking me into limitation. So now I have a new choice. I need to remember what that was. So to do a little exercise for you, and when you do this practice, when you do this process on your own, I want you to take that number 1 key and I want you to take a nice deep breath in and go into your heart. This technology is heart and soul technology. It's not only mind. So although I'm taking the mental body into great consideration because I love the intellect and the mental body, studying neuroscience, I have nothing but fascination and love for it. But this is not necessarily where we change and where we know the truth. It is in the heart center, which is the doorway to the soul that we know the truth. So when we want to work with Arise, we need to come into this heart-centered space. The easiest way, we breathe. And we just allow our being to settle and focus your intention on your heart space and feel your body. And really get into your body. There you go. And really into your body, go even deeper. Very good. Okay. So now in this space, remember, you are divine perfection. And you notice in this space, well, there comes the energy. It is beautiful. It is easy. It's natural. So this is the first part of remember. My soul is divine perfection. I'm divine perfection. Because that's what we are. Now, let us address the wounding by remembering and allowing our soul to speak to us now, allowing our intuitive remembering and intelligence, our cosmic wisdom and universal intelligence to speak. And I want you to feel how long it was ago and how old you were, more or less, when you stopped feeling this divine perfection. Immediately, you'll feel a number. It doesn't need to be perfect, but normally it will be 4, 6, 7, could be 14, 15 if there was a big thing. But just feel into that number. So let me just see, for the ones who are joining me live, just a thumbs up if you've got your number and if you're with me on the process so we can take the next step. Beautiful, thank you. Okay, so now that we've got that number, I want you to feel into that little person and see you at that age. As you know, but see you as from your eyes now. So as 42-year-old Lisette, I'm seeing my 4-year-old. And imagine where she is and what she's doing. And just travel there for a moment to just with her. And observe her where she is. If she's in her room, if she's in the kitchen, in the garden, wherever she may be, just observe her. And I want you in your heart space to feel what you feel when you see the magnificence and the innocence and the beauty of this little child. And I want you to remember who it was, and not because the who is important at all, because people are just doing the best they can. So it's not about who did it or whose fault it is. There is no fault here. But what happened and who was it that would ever convince this little one that she was anything but absolute perfection and love? And notice what is shown to you. So as you see what is shown to you, notice the decisions that your little one made, or the conclusions your little one made, the strategies that he had to make up to fit in. And notice how long you've been running that program, that strategy. That was never you. And this leads us into integration. It's the eye of arise. The middle point and the most important. When we know ourselves as soul and we remember where our innocence was lost, now we can integrate that and make a new decision. How long will you, master and soul, an incredible human being, be led and controlled by a decision that a very small child made because that was the best strategy they could come up with at the time? And what conscious decision will you make now? Now, of course, when this is touching on very deep abuse or trauma or a lot of hurt, a lot of anger, there are a few layers that I need to work through with people to bring in the love and to clear the unforgiveness, to clear the resentment, to clear the victimness that the little one might be feeling. I don't get to do that opportunity with you right now. But if you can feel good about one decision that you are going to make differently now that you see, wait a minute, there's nothing wrong with me. It's not that I'm not divine perfection, for example. It just means that I was talked out of it because I was made to believe that I had to work really hard and get it all right. And that's what perfection was. But it was never true, because that little girl is all of perfection, isn't she? And all the journey that you've done is all perfection, because you couldn't have done that. You couldn't have known differently. And every time you had a choice, you made the best choice that you knew how to do. Otherwise, you would have made a different choice. Beautiful. So when we have healed this core wound on levels, then, oh, thank you, Carmen. Carmen just commented, that's very powerful. It is such an incredible technology. Thank you so much. The power now is when we heal and integrate on these on different levels. And like I say, depending on how core they are, how traumatic they are, they might be different levels, but there is nothing that cannot be cleared 100% by the power of divine love. Nothing on this planet, I won't say universe because I haven't navigated the entire universe, but I know on this planet, in our existence, there is no force that is more powerful and transformative than love itself. So love is the only thing I use. I don't need channeled masters and ascended guides and angels. It is love, source love itself. That is the only thing we will ever need to clear anything. We might just need a few times around the mountain, because we've been doing some shit for a long time. So there's still some stuff. For example, even though I know this process, I teach this process, I work this process every day in my life, there'll still be stuff that comes up for me, and then I'll have to remember to sit down and do my arise process. What is really going on? What is this about? Sometimes I need a mirror who can hold the space. Lizette, remember, you are a soul. Remember, you are creator. Remember, this little girl, she needs you. Master. It's so funny in personal development. They're like, we got to hustle. We got to fight. We got to get stronger. And it's absolute bullshit, because what will happen is you will start judging yourself as not enough. You'll start pushing yourself as not enough. You'll chastise the little one in you to be better. But that's not where the glory's at. That's not where the transformation's at. And I know, because I spent 20 years on that little hamster wheel, until I realized the only blocks that stop me is when my little one has lost her innocence, and what she needs from me as the master and creator of my life today is to say, baby girl, I know that they said no, that they told you something else, but I'm here now for you. And yes, we can do whatever we want. And we can feel good about it every day of our life, because we are here to be happy. We are here to play. We are here to create. We are here to dance with love, to be channels of the divine codes of mercy, forgiveness, compassion, kindness, all the energies that would change people's lives and change the way we live and interact with our planet. So I don't need to hustle. I don't need to be better. I just need to love my little one. I need to love where I'm at. I need to love this journey. And I need to love every situation that is going to show me my shit. Because we have the process. And this leads us to what everybody wants. Yes, they want surrender. The beautiful S of our amazing process. So S for surrender, this is where people want, because surrender is when I define it as surrender is being in the state of co-creating and flowing harmoniously with life and with everything in life. So I remember when I was in the dark night of the soul because of my dad's passing. My dad was the trigger, the pain was the night I had to go through when I lost my father, who was the human being I had loved most on this planet since I came. And it led me there. But what was so amazing is surrender could only be shown to me when I came to the end of my human self, when there was no choice but to receive and accept. I was on the floor in the biggest pain. I had no will to continue and live and get up the next morning. When I finally could accept all of that this is just where it's at, and instead of chastising myself for it, like, come on, put on the brave face, Lizette, come up and show up. No, I just lay on the floor. I gave up. I said, this is it. And when I was able to then turn that and just start loving my little one through her pain, this is when surrender came. Now, a lot of people want to go to surrender. They just want to be there. And when I would go to my divine and my guides, when I was in that dark, dark place, and I said, help me, give me guidance, tell me what I'm supposed to do, I received 2 words that changed my life forever. And those 2 words were, trust me. And I saw I didn't trust. You know, I was spiritual, but I didn't trust God. I didn't trust life. I didn't trust love. Love had caused me the deepest pain possible. How can I trust this? So when I was told, trust me, I knew this was surrender. I was being called to surrender. And why? Because we don't go as human beings and create divine miracles. The divine, the codes of love, the manifestation of love in this human form is not created by the human, it flows through us. The way I can prove that is nothing ever goes the way that us humans think it should go. It's always going to happen. Something is going to happen, but it's not the way the humans plan. So I had to understand this human part of me, she has no control. But when I could trust the divine, and I could trust love to never fail, and I could trust life to always be showing up for me, and I could trust every situation to be such a perfect, meticulous mirror that cannot lie and will not lie, not because it doesn't want to give me what I want, but because it wants to cultivate what I need to be to have the life that I truly want. When I realized we're on the same team, God and me, I can trust this. But in order to trust, I have to go back and awaken and keep remembering and keep integrating, awaken and keep remembering and keep integrating, so I can clear out these patterns and clear out these patterns that keep me locked out of surrender. So when we're in the surrendered state, this is where true creation happens for us, through us, in us, around us. Your surrendered state is your master state. And you'll know when you're fully surrendered when the next time someone says, hey, you didn't do it perfectly. If like number key 4 is your thing, like you don't really believe your soul perfection. When someone says, hey, you didn't do that right, and you can honestly, with no trigger in your system, with not even like getting a little blush, there's only this cute little mischievous smile, like, woo, 6 months ago, I would have totally lost my shit with that one. And look at me now. I'm fine with that person not thinking that right now, this moment is all perfection is ever going to be. It's perfect. This is surrender. And yes, surrender is possible for us. We can learn to trust that deeply and trust ourselves that deeply. I even trust my ego to show me all its little shenanigans, you know, and then I treat my ego as it's a 4-year-old little child with so much love and so much, oh, sweetheart, we stepped in it again. Yes, you did. And that's okay, because then I can awaken, I can remember, I can integrate, and I go deeper into surrender. Which brings us to our last and final step of this spiritual technology that I've called Arise, which is we emerge. And we emerge as what? As more soul essence, as more of who we truly are. And we bring that more of who we are to our workplace, to our lovers, to our friends, to our family, to our business, to our neighbors, to our animals, to our planet. And it's really funny for me because growing up my whole life, I was always very ambitious because I had a lot of love. And I thought I had to be really super significant in order to give this love and to receive all of this love. So I had to work very hard. I had to be the top dog somewhere up there close to Jesus. So I worked really hard. And I had a very specific idea of who I would become and where I wanted to live and with who I wanted to live and what my partner would be like and what was the work I needed to do. And oh my God, did I just waste so much time. And why? Because the whole adventure is in the becoming. I have never been happier in my life than I am in the present moment, with my beloved in sacred union, doing the work that turns me on the most. Just finished my book, which I'm so proud of, you know, living in this paradise of this jungle, living in harmony with Mother Nature, learning how to love through cooking. I mean, I spend my days sometimes cleaning the house and baking bread. And I've never been more successful in my life. If you had told me that just 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I'd have said, you are out of your bloody mind. Is that where I'm going to end up? Not realizing this it's all part of the process of becoming. But we need to trust life to show us that. And whatever comes to you, it will be beyond what your human can imagine. Because life loves you that much. So that is the process of Arise. The call is to be the embodied essence of who you truly are, who you were born to be. And this is the process to bridge the gap between the soul truth and the human experience. Now, there may be other pieces, other keys, and you've got that now. And I'd encourage you to revisit that checklist, put this process to work again, But if this process has spoken to you and you like, I'm ready, I am so tired of chasing my own tail, of getting stuck in places that I no longer need to get stuck in. I am creating a whole new me because the times we're living in, it is demanding for the new us to step forward. The old us went with the old world. And there is a new era that is breaking, and it's breaking now. Who are you going to be in answer to this call? And my hope is to serve those that are say, I am ready to be all that I was called and created to be. If I need to look at shit, I will. If I need to clean my basement, I will. If I have to rebuild some foundation, I'll do it. And I'm right here for you. Then this process is right here for you. I learned once I actually had the process and I started doing retreats with people and I started, doing 6 month journeys with people, sometimes a year journey with people. And I would see them in their process of growing that spiritual muscle and integrating it, putting this powerful process to use in their professional lives, in their love relationships, in their personal well-being and their state of inner balance and peace. And then from that piece, becoming this creator that could almost wield manifestations. Like, I want that type of business, and we create that. Because now we're free from old dogmatic beliefs and little systems that have told us that we are less than what is real, than what we really are. We're not buying into that illusion anymore. So as I started watching this unfold for people, I will tell you now, in 10 years that I've been guiding people, this process has worked for every single person. And everyone asks me the same question. What if it doesn't work for me? But it's impossible. These are quantum physics laws. These are spiritual laws. It's just super refined and very directed. And I realized once I had this and I started working, I'm not, yes, I teach, yes, I coach, but actually I am a way shower because I embody exactly what I'm teaching. I have lived this and I've created a life that I love. And it's not because I'm over special. It doesn't mean I'm more intelligent than you. It just means I have this technology that you might need to practice implementing. And I'm also a guide. I'm the builder of this bridge that I called a rise, and I'm a guide to take people over the bridge. So if this process has resonated with you, and if you are ready for this life that is calling you, and this love that is in your heart that wants to be shared and heard and free, to create and to soar and serve other people, including yourself, first and foremost, starting with yourself, then I'm also offering a 30-minute clarity call to see what other keys are you dealing with and how can I be of utmost service to you. And there's different formats we can do that to fit everyone's budget. So please take me on that invitation. The world needs us. Those of you that are here, those of you that are taking the time to say, something's missing and I'm ready to listen, to find out what else I can do, how better I can show up. These are the people that the world is waiting for, the seekers, the light workers, the leaders, the soul essence people. Not people that want to start a business, just to have money, but because they love contribution. These are the people that most just light up my life. And that's you. So with that, I look forward to hearing from you. Please take me on my offer. If you don't, if you would use the checklist just to at least keep identifying where am I getting stuck? What is this really about? Then it is my absolute honor and privilege to have been of service to you, to at least give you this piece of the roadmap that you know how to deal and how to further your journey. Thank you so much for being here. And I wish you every blessing and every success.